Of you jumped onto my Facebook Live this morning, or I guess it was more of an attempt. Definitely need to purchase a new router because my Wi-Fi kept cutting me out. So I got smart and I am filming an actual video that I will obviously be posting because I'm probably posted it by now. But anyways, I wanted to talk today about a powerful way to set goals that works for me, that works for clients that I work with. And it's not as simple as just writing it down on a piece of paper. Say you have a New Year's resolution for the year. It can be really hard to see the final product or the finish line when the goal is a year away. So I'm going to teach you a way and kind of a little mini workshop today of how to break down your resolution into actionable goals that are meaningful to you. Just because I found a fun fact online that only 8% of New Year's resolutions succeed. So, and I don't know how accurate that is, but that means roughly 92% of them fail. And there's definitely a reason for that. So, again, I wanted to talk to you today and kind of break down the steps of setting smaller milestones and backing it up with meaning and action and what's going to be fulfilling to you, and what you want to see for yourself. So let's dive in. Just to lay it out there, I want to first talk today about SMART goals and just kind of review what the SMART goal method is. The second thing is why the SMART goal method does not work alone. The third is how you can support your SMART goals with meaning and action. The fourth is a series of questions that you can ask yourself to verify that the goal is actually solid and is going to work for you and is going to be meaningful to you. And the last thing I'll do is share a personal example of how or what I'm working on this year and how I'm using this method to kind of align with that goal. So first I want to review the SMART goal method. Many of you may have heard of this before. I know there's many different versions of the acronym SMART, but I'll tell you my version. The S would stand for specific. So let's just say, for example, for ease, that your goal for this year is to lose 10 pounds. So just kind of breaking it down. So getting specific would be exactly what it sounds like. So instead of saying, I want to get fit this year, it's, I want to lose weight this year. The M in SMART stands for measurable. So this is basically quantifying it. So rather than saying, I want to lose weight this year, it's saying, I want to lose 10 pounds this year. So it's really breaking that down into a quantifiable measure. The A is attainable. So thinking about, is this attainable for me? Would I be capable of this with the resources I had right now? Do I have 10 pounds to lose, or maybe do I have like 3 pounds to lose? Things like that. Relevant. So the R in SMART stands for relevant, and is this goal relevant to something that matters to you? Is 10 pounds really going to make a difference in your life? Most of you would argue that it would, but some goals may not be relevant. Like for me, climbing Mount Everest may not be a relevant goal for me right now at this point in my life. It's just not something that would really, actually it would be awesome, but just as an example for someone that was a beginner level and wanted to climb Mount Everest. You get the point. Anyways, moving on, time bound is the T in SMART. So we've got to put a deadline on it. We've got to say, this is the end goal. This is when I want to see this goal accomplished. So we have SMART: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time bound. So let's move on from that. I'm going to talk about how you can support the SMART goal with meaning and action. So let's first just lay out why the SMART method doesn't work alone. The first is it doesn't have a lot of meaning to it. So we're not really sitting down and really thinking about what we want to achieve, who we want to be, all of that good stuff. So there's not a whole lot of meaning just by laying out the SMART goal itself. A lot of times they're too long in duration. So I know I gave the example of losing 10 pounds in a year. A year is a really long time frame, and it's really easy to lose sight of the end goal when it's so far away. So for anything, I always recommend setting really small milestone goals for, even weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, and then a longer term goal, which is about 6 months to 8 months. And that's still kind of pushing it duration, but you for sure want to have those smaller milestones in there so that you can have them and build up to that main goal. And for that reason, it's easy to fall off with a too long of a duration. The last kind of con of the SMART goal method is just that there's not a whole lot of accountability attached to it. So we do need to find a way that we can either hold ourselves accountable or find someone or something else to hold us accountable to this goal. So moving on, I'm going to talk about the blended approach that we can do. And I did post an article yesterday in here that was a 4-step method that laid out SMART goal setting and how you can kind of tie it all together. But I actually have 5 steps. I added one piece to it. So I'll start from the top. The step 1 is going to be evaluate and reflect. So in any goal setting process, you first want to sit down and kind of reflect on your current situation. Where are you at right now? Are you, let's take it to an exercise goal this time. Right now, I'm currently exercising 0 times a week. So, for me to set a goal that's going from 0 to 5 days a week is not really setting yourself up for success. So you want to really reflect and evaluate where you're at right now and go from there. Number 2 is defining your dreams and your goals. So really painting the picture and visualizing what you want to see for yourself, 3 months down the road, 6 months down the road, 12 months down the road. Painting that picture, and it really helps to write it down as well. And that goes for the reflection too, is writing down your current situation. That way at each, maybe it's weekly or monthly that you journal your progress, but you want to be able to see it so that you can measure, this month I'm working out, I worked out twice a week consistently. Maybe this next month I'm working out 3 times a week for the most part. So you really want to see those smaller things, and it builds up the motivation to keep going. Number 3 is actually setting that SMART goal, or 2, which I would say would be maximum at a given time. You just want to be working on 1 to 2 goals. More than that, it leads to overwhelm, and typically just, like I said, it leads to overwhelm, and it just kind of makes you want to crawl back into your shell and not do anything at all. So focus on 1 to 2, get successful with those, and then reevaluate and move on to the next big thing. So that's setting that SMART goal or 2. Number 4 is listing action steps. So you really want to just kind of take a giant brain dump and what could help you succeed at this goal. Let's say it's exercising 4 days a week consistently. That's what you want to do. What are you going to do to make that happen? Do you need a gym membership? Do you need a partner? Do you need to sign up for classes? Do you need a new pair of tennis shoes? Do you need a planner, program, or coach? Do you need new exercise equipment? Whatever it may be, write down your action steps and what you need to make this happen for you. Okay. Lastly, and actually going back to that really quick, set specific dates on when you need these items. So you're listing your action step and then those items and deadlines on there. So it helps to put it into a calendar so that you can actually hold yourself accountable in that way. And that leads me to the last and 5th step of this approach, and that is accountability. So this is the one I added to the whole 4-step approach that I read about the other day and put in the group in that article, but accountability is super key. And that's actually where a majority of my personal training clients come from. A lot of them know how to exercise, but it's just having that accountability, having that meeting time on the calendar, having it set in stone that allows them to be successful. So that accountability piece can happen by setting a reminder in your calendar or your phone, telling a buddy, telling your partner, telling a friend what your goal is so that they can kind of check in with you, enlisting in a coach. All of those things can keep you accountable to a goal. So let's move on to the next part. And these are 6 questions that you can ask yourself to really verify if this goal is good for you. So question 1 is, does this support who you want to be and what you want to do? So again, sit back, you've created your goal, you've evaluated, you've painted the picture, you've listed your action steps, you set up your accountability, you're ready to go. Does this support who you want to be and what you want to do? So does this still reflect those initial goals and dreams? Number 2 is, does it require you to learn new skills? So studies say that we are more motivated when we have to reach outside that comfort zone and learn a couple new skills in order to be successful. So maybe you need to learn to lift weights, or you need to learn to use kettlebells, or you need to learn to meal prep. All of those things count as new skills. The third question is, do you have access to what you need? So these items that you need, these new skills that you need, is the training accessible? Can you find a meal prep, program online? Can you find a fitness coach to teach you to lift weights safely and effectively? Do you have access to these tools in order to make you successful? Because if your goal is to exercise and you want to hit the gym hard this year, but you don't have a gym within a 10-15 mile radius, it may not really be realistic. So you may have to reroute that and figure out some home workouts that you can do. Is it possible to vividly picture this happening to you? So a big part of goal setting is really believing that it can happen and being able to visualize what your life can look and feel like when you've achieved it. So visualization and picturing it is a huge deal. And this goes back to the duration of the goal as well. If you say you want to make all these big changes happen over the course of a year, it may be really hard to picture that end goal. So setting yourself up for 1 to 2 months out may be more realistic and more helpful to you in order to be able to visualize that stuff happening to you. Okay. The 5th question is, will accomplishing this better the life of yourself and others? So again, another study showed that we want to be fulfilled in our goal, and we're going to be more attached to it if we know that it's going to better either ourselves or the people around us. So let's go back to the exercise goal. Say we want to exercise 3 days a week. We've been working out for 0 days a week. So increasing our exercise will definitely make us a more positive, happy, stress-free person in general, and this will portray to all of those people around us. So that's a way that it can affect others. Will it require you to stretch out of your comfort zone? So this kind of goes back to, will it require me to build new skills? You want it to stretch you outside of the comfort zone just enough so that you feel motivated and you have that pressure on you to learn and grow as a person. If we set our goal too low, or if it's too easy and it's kind of boring and within that comfort zone, an example for me is that I ran a couple half marathons a couple years ago, and ever since then, ever since I completed that and kind of conquered that goal, I haven't really been motivated to train and do that again for whatever reason. It was super awesome when I was doing it, but my focus has kind of changed in my workouts, and doing that goal again would not really stretch me out of my comfort zone. So I kind of had to think about that and why it was affecting me in that way.